I'm Rachel.
I'm Gary.
And this is
What Do We Know? So this week, Rachel was kind enough to invite me down to her place, and that's where we are, Chez Rachel. And we had some noodles, and we have some cookies and some milk as we do our video this week. And yeah, I think the wine has gone a little out. It must be white wine.
Ooh.
Yeah. So this week was my pick, and I picked Breakfast at Tiffany's at Classic. Mm-hmm. And Rachel's going to tell you about it.
So Breakfast at Tiffany's, I had never seen it before. Had you seen it before?
No, I'd never seen it before.
So it's a film about a country girl who gets picked up and taken to New York and transformed, and she's a call girl, but she's like exploring, and she's very free-spirited, and it's basically just her, the new her in New York, and trying to figure out everything and just living her life. I think at the very beginning of the movie, I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to like this movie or not, because it was just, like, it had a kind of slow start, and I didn't really know what was going on, and it didn't seem like it had very much of a plot, but then it really picked up in the middle, and then there was, like, all of a sudden a bunch of different components to the plot, like her getting arrested and, like, all this stuff, and it picked up quite a lot, but at the beginning it took a little while.
It's kind of fun being able to watch some of these movies now in HD, because not that many years ago we were watching them in SD, and on a standard definition screen the resolution is not as good, and you really don't appreciate the cinematography as much. But now that we can watch them in HD, you watch it like they were watching it more in the movie theaters, and the resolution and the clarity and everything else is there, and I really appreciate that, being able to watch some of these older movies like that now. So this movie's rated G because it's an older movie. There's not a lot in it. What there is in it is kind of implied more than it's really there. So, unless you really understand what's going on, you're not going to get it. So it's probably pretty safe for the kids, but it does have some mature themes. I mean, they're both kind of sleeping for money with, so Holly Golightly, she is kind of a call girl, but she's more of an escort than a call. Like, she's not she's not a prostitute, right? She escorts these guys with lots of money, goes places with them, and they pay her to be for the date, basically. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, she's a call girl, but not really that bad. In fact, I read somewhere someone was comparing it more to like the geishas than to really like a call girl.
Well, she even said, like, they were in the bar when the girl was dancing up there, and she said, I wouldn't give up everything, so she's like, I'd make a lot more.
She's definitely got an eye for the prize. That's really what Tiffany's is all about, right? That's the prize, the jewelry that's there.
Well, the whole thing is so... It was surprising to me because the whole thing, she was very much about money. But then when he's like, oh, well, I have $10, like, he's like, oh, well, let me buy you something. And she's like, no, like, don't do that. And he's like, oh, well, like, what about $10? And she's like, well, I could accept a gift for under $10. That would be okay.
Because if it's more than that, it's not a gift.
Yeah, well, it was like, but it was kind of cute, and it kind of said something about their relationship, though, where she was so focused on money, but then with him, it wasn't about the money. It was like, it was just about the time spent together.
And do you actually get prizes in Cracker Jack boxes anymore?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow. You probably couldn't engrave the prizes anymore.
No. They'd be plastic.
So the movie's set in New York. I understand that Tiffany's had to open up for the first time on a Sunday in 71 years for this movie, just so they could make the movie. And I think they had like almost 50 guards on standby to protect themselves from thieves.
Ironically, because they went to that little, what seemed like a dollar store almost, and stole those little masks.
Yeah, the 5 and dime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Used to be 5 cents or a dime. Now it's $1.
Actually, now it's more than $1. Now it's like everything's like $2 to $4.
And like when you're watching this video, who knows what it'll be then? Like, what it'll be, $10 store? So there were a lot of famous actors in this movie. Of course, it's an older movie, 1960s, so they've had time to get famous. Audrey Hepburn, of course, is very famous. Amazing actress and good looking too, so that helps.
we're sitting down here, and one of my roommates, he's like, oh, it's just amazing. It's just so, oh. Like the entire time, he only saw the last half of it, but the entire time he was just like, I feel like, guys watch a movie with Audrey Hepburn and that's all they know.
No,
Audrey Hepburn's gorgeous.
She's a good actress too. I mean,
That's
she really nailed the part. Do you also know that they had originally tried to get Marilyn Monroe to play that part? Yeah. Can you see Marilyn? It would have totally taken a different tack. I think the whole call girl thing.
They probably would have played on the call girl thing a little bit more.
You know the irony of it though is that she didn't take the part because she thought it would lower her, like make her look, like
it honestly might have.
Yeah. And yet Audrey Hepburn plays it, and
because it's not Audrey Hepburn. Whereas if Marilyn Monroe played it, it would be very much her playing. She's not necessarily a call girl, but her reputation, right? It would have been very much her playing herself, and I feel like it wouldn't have been
wanted to be, right?
Put that out there, and it would be like her accepting that.
And there's George Peppard, who played Paul Varjak, right? Her love interest.
A.K.A. Fred.
And he, of course, went on to fame with the A-Team as the leader of the A-Team. I understand George was hard to get along with on set, too, that he was very bossy, very picky. He overanalyzed everything about what they were doing, and that got on everybody's nerves.
Are you acting in it, or are you directing it?
Well, and I don't think he did as good a job as the other actors, honestly. I mean, he was very pensive. He didn't say very much when he did. I think he could have been a good cast for that role, but I don't think he nailed it. And then there's Buddy Ebsen, who went on to
Beverly Hillbillies.
Right.
I was like, through the movie, I was like, he looks so familiar, and then we're in the car, and Dad's like, oh yeah, he was in Beverly Hillbillies. I'm like, oh. So.
And then there's Mickey Rooney. Of course, Mickey Rooney is pretty famous for his comedy. He became a very big guy. I think he was big at the time even, too. But the character he played was a bit unfortunate.
Racist.
Yeah, very unfortunate. I think he did a fantastic job of going over the top. He even actually, I think they could have picked a Japanese character or actor to act it, and probably would have done the same kind of thing, or maybe even done it worse than Mickey Rooney did. But
it was funny, but it was
a little bit racist to pick Mickey Rooney to be a Japanese character, right? To have an all-white cast in there.
It's hard because now it would be super racist and it would not be acceptable. But then, it was fine.
Yeah. Did you know that Alan Reed, who played Sally Tomato, the one who Holly would go to get the weather report, right? Did you know that he actually is Fred Flintstone?
In the cartoon?
In the cartoon. He did the voice for Fred
some
Flintstone.
reason I was thinking the live action movie.
No, that's John Goodman.
I was like, there's no way. But yeah. No, I didn't know that, but that's
and I heard that somebody actually thought that Barney Rubble actually makes an appearance too as a voice somewhere.
Oh.
Not credited at the end of the movie, or the beginning of the movie, because this is an old movie. They put all the credits
Easter egg in there.
Yeah, the Easter eggs. You have to listen for Barney Rubble and see Fred Flintstone.
The voices of people in the 1900s, I don't understand. They all talk like this, darling. Oh, it's just it's like a whole other accent.
The part that Audrey Hepburn was playing is of a call girl, and it would be very easy for that to go south very quickly. But Audrey Hepburn has such class that she just brought that right into that character. It's like you totally believe that this is an innocent person who's doing this escort thing just to make a living. And yeah.
I think it's very much she has this mentality that nobody belongs to her and she doesn't belong to anybody. She is this free spirit. Everybody is their own person. And that's why when she gets asked to marry Paul Varjak, that she is like, no, because I don't want to belong to you. He's like, no, you are mine. This is what love is. This is what marriage is we are each other's. And she's like, no, I don't belong to anybody. And all this stuff, and I feel like that's kind of cool with the call girl thing, and that kind of gives her a little bit more of her own personality. And
do you think that was maybe a little bit of a holdover from being married before? The Doc, when she was married to him, she felt like she was his instead of that she was her own spirit?
It might have been, especially since with that marriage came kids as well, so it was very much if she was going to marry into this, she had her whole life basically right there. Her kids were going to be her whole life. right? And so when she left that and he comes back to get her, she's like, I can't go back. I'm not the same person. So.
I kind of felt a little bit for the doc. I mean, I don't think that he he found this beautiful girl who was willing to marry him, and, you know, life was going to be amazing, and then she runs off.
Yeah, and she just leaves him.
Yeah, I kind of felt bad for him.
And she can't go back because she's not the same person. She's like, I love you, but I can't go back. I really liked the story once it picked up, because it was the beginning for me that just wasn't good. But then I really liked the story. It was very, like, wholesome, but also, like, not wholesome for the time. But it was like,
for the time, you think it was wholesome now to be a call girl and to go out with a married woman for the money so you can keep living?
That's not the wholesome part. I meant, like, the romance of it, and it was very much just like they had a good friendship.
So do you think they're going to end up together at the end of the movie? Like, they're actually going to stay together?
I think so.
You don't think she's too much of a free spirit that she'll take off on him again?
I think that he was finally a person who kind of brought it into light, where he was like, you can't live like this. You need some sort of, like, base. Like, you need some sort of foundation, and then you can kind of go from there.
So do you think the two of them straightened each other out?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because he realized that he couldn't continue on this way if he wanted her, but he also pushed her to realize that she couldn't continue on like that if she wanted to be with him.
You know, all these old movies, they start with the credits, and you're like sitting there forever waiting for the credits to be done, and you got to watch what's happening in behind the credits. You know?
So all these old movies, even the movies that, like, I grew up with and stuff like that, all the credits were at the beginning, but I was like, maybe that's because nobody sits through the credits at the end unless it's a Marvel movie. So they're like, we're trying to give these people
That's why the Marvel movies do it now, right? But
I know, so that people sit through it.
So when you get to the end of these movies, then it's just the end. And it literally is the end. Okay, goodbye. Everybody, see ya. Bye.
Yeah, which is kind of nice, though, because you get the credits out of the way, and then you just enjoy it until the very end, and you can leave all.
You leave with that feeling, right? The emotion, the romance.
Yeah, and it kind of, like, it makes it a little bit more real. Like, you watch the movie, and it just kind of ends, and then you don't see the credits. So
since we're here at Rachel's house and she kindly gave us or baked these cookies, we're going to rate this on cookies. I got chocolate on my finger.
I think I'm going to give it 7 cookies out of 10. Yeah.
How come?
I think just because it was very much like a slow start. I've been privileged where now it's harder to keep the audience captive, so people need to add more interesting things, and it needs to, like, surprise you right off the bat. Otherwise, you're going to bore people and lose their attention. So I feel like with that one, it's kind of harmed me a little bit, being in this stage of life where, like, all these movies are very captivating, and then sitting through the first 20 minutes of this film being like, but when is it going to start?
I would actually also rate it 7 out of 10 cookies, but because Mickey Rooney's character just, I mean, as soon as I saw him, I went, it's a little sensitive. And also, Paul Varjak's acting, not really great there. Audrey Hepburn definitely kept the score higher. And then I wasn't so sure about the whole idea of being a call girl and I mean, it was part of the movie. Yeah. That was okay, but it wasn't so much that it was in there that would have brought my score down. It was that they had it in there and they didn't really play it. Do you know what I mean? Like, probably because they were trying to fool the censors at the time, right? Into thinking it was a little better movie.
And I feel like it was also probably because Audrey Hepburn was supposed to be playing this very classy, very stylish lady who didn't really tell everybody that she was a call girl. She wasn't very open about it. It was very much like if you find out, that's fine. But
so 7 out of 10 across the board.